Up next is a Zoom call with my dear friend Eric Bennett, the writer of The Bird, the biopic on Mark the Bird Fidrych that I am directing, as well as my dear friend Maclawson, who's an incredible, amazing comedian. She's an amazing female comedian, and also going to be a partner in the podcast that I will be hosting here in Florida, specifically down in Miami. She will also be working with our nonprofit, the Lacy Magee Foundation, as Mac is a survivor herself of domestic abuse. And also my friend Spade, who I met in a very quick 3-day adventure to Detroit. She is a artist, a writer, a soon-to-be filmmaker herself. She is a poet, a lyricist, and she runs her own amazing, basically, ecosystem in Detroit that you'll hear about on this Zoom call. These are leaders and partners. Again, there were hundreds. So only did so many Zoom calls because I couldn't keep track of trying to connect everybody on Zooms. But as you can see, these are all just tastes of the leadership groups of all ages, but specifically very strong women and men that understand women, as Eric Bennett himself has an amazing daughter, Rose, who's a young filmmaker in high school already winning film festivals. And she will be my assistant whenever I have the opportunity to finally move these movies forward. But most importantly, these are voices behind what will be this telethon music and comedy festival here towards the end of November. Mac is going to bring in the entire ecosystem of comedians from the state of Florida. So enjoy.
Hello. Hello, Eric Bennett. Hello there, Spade.
Can you see me?
Nope, not yet.
Hey,
What do we got to do? Video.
Spade, I want to see both your pretty faces. Hello.
I am.
hey,
So,
Hey.
Eric, let me introduce you to a Detroit local who I met when I was on that adventure there and awake for 2 days. Spade, this is Eric Bennett, who wrote the biopic on Mark Fidrych, one of the co-writers and a producer, a film you're going to be a producer on, Spade, so I can launch you properly in film in a major way. My friend Mac, who's the head of our comedian ecosystem tree.
Hold on. I'll be right back. I'm listening.
Well, no, I'm gonna wait till you're here. You don't get up when someone's in the middle of talking. For those watching this, never disconnect like that. If you do, go mobile. Leadership.
I want to get my tiger hat.
Oh, there we go.
hey.
That's acceptable. So, Eric, the two women, Spade and my friend Maclawson, who's a very established up and coming comedian, ENNE, is going to be joining us. These are going to be two not only mentors for your daughter, who you're going to talk about her film career. I should have had her on this, but we'll do that again. But they're going to get to meet your sweet Rose because we are all collectively together, especially after I deliver this speech that everybody's going to watch as part of these Zooms I've been doing, because I just broke the forever thing that was called corporate Hollywood and started something entirely new for my hometown. We all own the Ocala Drive-In Theater, where I've taken the Pulp Fiction IP and created a vision behind Pulp Fiction, the Drive-In Anthology series, where every episode will debut at drive-ins only across America and then end up on our streaming platform that's nonprofit, by the way, named after Sydney and my grandmother. Hello, Mac.
Hi, long time no see.
Long time no see. So on this, you've got one of our architects in music who's based in Detroit and Spade.
Hey, nice to
Hi,
meet
nice
you.
to meet you.
And then you've got Eric Bennett, who's the co-writer of The Bird, about Mark the Bird Fidrych, who pitched for the Tigers in Detroit back in the 70s.
Awesome.
Only baseball player, by the way, ever on the cover of Rolling Stone magazine.
That's pretty cool.
And Mac, you're a producer on the movie I'm directing. That's going to be a major studio film, our studio. That's
Oh,
going to
nice.
star Taylor John Smith and also some other A-listers. Spade's
yeah.
the producer on it as well, as is Eric's daughter, because you see Eric's daughter, she's already working in this whole thing, and she's going to be shadowing myself and Sydney on my directorial debut that stars Sid. And then literally three women, one of which is Eric's daughter, are going to be the three primary producers, along with David Womark and Larry Franco, one who's got an Oscar nom and the other billions in box office gross, as the only other producers on the movie outside of Sydney and Joey Stanton. I am changing the way that entertainment is put forward into this earth. I have, with a lot of individuals, created a nonprofit studio that basically all the investors that invest in that get ownership in our corporation. It will be the only corporation left by the time I am finished. That is an advertising agency called Dream It, Create It, Live It. That advertising agency is also a management company overseen by Young Dirty Bastard, aka Barson Jones, aka ODB from the Wu-Tang Clan's son, who's continued in his father's legacy. That management company is run by YDB, myself, his manager Danny Hamilton, Joey Stanton, and a lot of other individuals. So the management company owns the ad agency. And then all those people, along with you guys and others, make up our hotel ownership group, where the first hotel is being built in my hometown at the Ocala Drive-In Theater, where we have created Pulp Fiction, the drive-in anthology series, because we own the trademark. And how beautiful is this? The IP itself, the original movie's at Paramount. That's why I tried to buy Paramount in the first damn place. So this is a call because Eric's daughter is an amazing young filmmaker, 20 times more talented than I was at her age. I would know because I've done this for 20 years. And if Rose is surrounded by the right group of women that only aren't just in film, but in comedy and creation, like you are, Mac, on social media, the other areas, the music spaces, safe space that Spade is in, we can change the world. And that women's leadership side of all that talent is overseen by Sydney, who built all this with me. You see, I'm the divine masculine who understands the divine feminine, but that woman changed the world because she got me to wake up and do all this. So, Eric, will you talk a little bit about the bird that we're making, that these two women are producers on? And tomorrow I have a Zoom call with Taylor John Smith and Jesse Metcalf, who are going to be two of the main people in that movie, along with Sam Daly and several others.
Wow, great. I can't wait to talk about the bird. So let's
One more thing.
yeah.
And Mac's going to be one of the main people overseeing our variety and telethon, because she's one of the funniest fucking people, man or a woman, that I've
Thank
met.
you.
Absolutely. And so all of you are going to be some of the primary producers and writers overseeing what this telethon is going to be that I've been promoting. And I'm about to get TMZ to blow up come probably Friday afternoon going into the weekend. So that's the other purpose of this. I'm going to start a WhatsApp for that telethon for the writer side. Eric's co-writer on The Bird, John, he's been in high level. He created a series that I think was on Nickelodeon at one point too. Was it Nickelodeon?
Yeah, he worked for Nickelodeon. He did a lot of things. He was in
So
Hollywood as a writer for about 20 years, 25 years. He started out as a stand-up comic.
I might reboot
Back in the day of like Robin Williams.
by
And
the time we're done, we're gonna own the rights again to what John created at Paramount, aka Nickelodeon. So
Nice.
this is for you guys to kind of get to know each other. Eric, I want you to hear the backgrounds of these two amazing women, so then you can directly connect your daughter with them, and you guys can talk amongst your leisure, because I'm about to be very busy. This is my last meeting. I'm driving to Orlando tonight to see TJ Loverboy who was one of Chris Brown's best friends. TJ is the son of one of my mom's oldest friends, dating back to 1960 something. So we broke the matrix, and today is day one.
Congratulations on breaking the matrix.
You as well.
That is not on my resume. Breaking the matrix.
On everyone's resume now, because we all did it together.
Every once in a while, I'll make a loud noise and I say, "Hey, that was just me breaking the matrix." You have to excuse me.
A little glitch here and there.
Anyway, you guys, I'd love to know about you guys. I did put the Tigers hat on for you.
Appreciate that.
Yeah.
We're actually Tigers are doing pretty good right now. I think they're doing great. But so
Yes,
I'm
the Tigers are doing great.
so
Yeah.
my name is Spade. Like Will said, I met him. Was it in March? Yeah, in March. I threw my first event up under my program that I just started called a Safe Space Detroit. I've been doing hip hop for maybe 10 years now. I grew up in like film, theater. I grew up in the performing arts, but music, for some reason, it's always had a hold on me. And as I've been just maneuvering through the city, trying to figure out who I am as an artist and make these certain connections, I just run into a lot of spaces that do not really offer the inclusion and the expansion, and like it's just not a safe space. So that drove me to create a Safe Space Detroit. And it's kind of like an artist directory. So I want to be able to be like a tunnel program for artists to be able to connect with people that can help them expand their career. And so I went to Berlin in 2023 for an artist exchange, and I connected with the guy that runs the program overseas. And so I, by the grace of God, of course, I get to take a group of artists to Berlin the end of this year under my program, which is cool because this is the first year that it's actually running. And I'm grassroots with it. So I kind of started it by myself, but the goal is to just make people feel comfortable within their creative world, and also to bring more light to the fact that art is needed. Like everything is art, whether you're cooking or you're working in a corporate world or you're a doctor or a lawyer, everything takes art. So just bringing the magnitude back to, what art is, and also the purity and the authenticity, because we're in an age where everything is like very oversaturated. And I'm just understanding that there's just a level of rawness and realness that needs to remain within the art. And so my program is really rooted in that.
Awesome.
I love self-made people. It's very inspirational, and they're usually the best people.
Yes,
Thank you.
sir.
That's awesome. And definitely really needed, I think, right now in the music industry. So a little bit about me. So I I was a gymnast growing up. I was homeschooled, and I only open up with this to say I mainly focused on gymnastics, but whenever I would get home, because I was homeschooled, I would make movies with my camcorder. So that was like my passion. I was obsessed with it. But my mom at the time was like, that's not a real job. You need to go to school. You need to become a lawyer, blah, blah, blah. So for the first quarter of my life, I guess, I kind of started pursuing that until I was about 25, 26. I read the book, The Alchemist, if you guys have read it, where something lit up inside of me where I just knew I needed to follow my personal legend, which was to be like Chelsea Handler. Just wanted to be Chelsea Handler. I didn't even know she did stand up. I just knew I wanted to be like Chelsea Handler. So at that point, I moved out to LA. I thought I wanted to be a director. I wasn't really sure what I was going to do. And then I got a brain injury, and my brain injury caused me to be way more expressive and also to not care as much. And after kind of posting a bunch of like funny things on social media, a lot of people told me to do stand-up comedy. So that was
you got a positive brain injury.
yeah. Well, actually, Roseanne Barr actually got into stand-up for the same. There's actually a lot of comedians that got bumped in the head and then started stand-up because it's something about it. It releases your inhibitions while you're going through it. Because you can't really focus on what other people are thinking because you're just trying to think. So, anyway, so that's how I got into stand-up. That was about Ooh, that was a while ago now. 6 years ago, I think, that I actually got into stand up. But I also have a music background, so I play violin, drums, guitar, and piano, and I do the music for fun, like Little Dicky style, like comedy music. Um, and then yeah, I do stand up, social media. I have a podcast, and I've just turned the arts into a career, which is pretty exciting for me. So
And for some background, the way that Mac and I met,
yeah.
when I had bottomed my life out, not knowing the path I was being sent down, and the engagement with who built all of this ended, I was trying to find a place to move back to in LA as I was putting my life back together. This was going into 2020. It was like the beginning, deep
Oh,
at the
yeah.
start of COVID. And
Yeah.
I came across a room for rent online. And that's how Mac and I connected. And now look at where this is. I'm telling
Isn't
you,
that
man,
crazy?
every single path is created by a
Yes,
creator.
oh,
We
I
just
just-
are asleep to go down most of them. But so Mac's been literally at this since the very beginning when I went back and Cutthroat debuted at a drive-in, and
Yep.
she's
What's
been
crazy is both of our lives were at rock bottom at that point, and
Yep.
now everything has gotten so good for me. But I was in the thick of my brain injury at that point too, so it was both of us.
How did you get your brain injury?
It was assault from my ex-boyfriend.
Oh my God, I'm so sorry.
Sorry to
And
hear
That'll
so
make you a comedian.
Mac, you're going to be one of the main champions. So I started the Lacy Magee Foundation. I've already talked in the video that all of you are going to see and the whole world's going to know about. The people that got her addicted to drugs were Shannon and Jared Leto. They had her sign an NDA. She had to sleep in coffins with Shannon. People that really know them, that have partied with them, I think know this, and maybe now will also shine a light on it. I wasn't afraid to do so because it fucked up her life. I said I was going to stop saying that word. I'm sorry. It messed up her life. And it was one of the main things we connected over because somebody else who used to party with those two got one of my best friends also basically. I mean, look, everybody, every path happens for a reason, but somebody I know who I helped not die from being addicted to fentanyl was connected to that circle as well. So what I've created with everybody is a social justice live 24/7 streaming channel. When we're not going Ghost Adventure style and shining our cameras with our celebrities standing right next to us in people's faces that just want to dance in the dark, it's going to run on an endless loop, the entire path in pursuit, which is more than 24 hours of footage of the group that formed Big Picture Collective into Big Picture World, pursued buying Paramount, started Project Rise Partners so we could all make Pulp Fiction and change the world together. And that's what we've done. And I have called out several men who I know are abusers because I've literally been around the abuse that they've been instilling on other people in their lives, from their children to women who are nothing but kind, that get taken advantage of. And I'm shining a big bright spotlight on it because God led me forward to do it. And so, Mac, I want you as part when we go on these finding justice adventures that brands are going to pay for, because I have all the brands in the world showing up. You're going to be on camera talent with myself, Danny Falcone, who used to be a made member of the mafia, who did kill people and has since now been sober for almost 40 years and has helped thousands of people be led into the light. My friend Nick Principe, who's 6'7", who literally plays Chrome Skull in the film Laid to Rest. Sydney will be on camera talent as well. And the first episode of that, where I've already called out the guest stars, is going to happen on our telethon stage, because this isn't about canceling people. It's about if you could save people before they get canceled fully in the court of public opinion. My hope is forgiveness can be installed, but they have to take accountability for the things that not only led them into those situations, but put other people's lives down a road as well. And that's what this is.
There's a girl who was there when it happened to me, who's in the public eye, who took a payoff so that I couldn't take him to court too.
Oh man.
She's on my radar of revenge one day. No, I'm not ready yet.
Yep.
She's had her own karma in her own way, but I have my revenge because I knew I couldn't go to court because of her.
Too many voices are silenced from people that are living in the truth of what they got put through. So
Yeah.
all of these individuals have put me through a truth that is very real. And now, look, it's public. And by this point, when this video here is seen, everybody's watching a stream. This is one of the last things that's going to be a part of that. I mean, this is so real that I named a foundation after somebody who's no longer with us because of what they got put through. Sleeping in a coffin. So now the vampire's got to pop up into the light. Simple as that. Mac, I want to direct a movie starring you. So
Congratulations.
I need you, and if you have ideas that you want to work on it, right?
I do.
Amazing. Eric's
I want
daughter.
I
One hell
actually
of a
want to
writer.
tell the story of my brain injury because when I got to LA, I was this really wide-eyed, naive girl from Virginia, just wanted to, work in Hollywood. And I don't want to say too much, but the story is insane. Like just criminals and getting drugged and just crazy stuff that I went through. So I have that idea.
That would be, and I'm pretty sure Sydney, like I said, man, we had a dance in the dark to get to the light. We've been put through some stuff. So I'm pretty sure I have a female team of writers that if you want to collaborate with some people or bounce stuff off of, that's right in front of us. Spade, I want to open safe spaces at every single place that we're building a Canyon Country Hotel at. I want to expand the ecosystem of what you've started in Detroit, a place where I've experienced firsthand what you've created. And it kept me away. I was at the end of being awake for almost 2 days. And not because that was on purpose. I was getting led by whoever put us on this planet all over the place. And you guys gave me the energy to get to the airport that night. Eric, will you talk about the bird?
Oh, okay. Back to the bird.
Well, we didn't
Circle
finish
back.
it. We bounced around. I always close the circle.
Well, I don't know. Is anybody other than Will familiar with this character, Mark Fidrych?
I am not, unfortunately.
And he's from Detroit.
I know.
Well, it's way before your time. It's actually before Will's time, and it's almost before my time. So the thing with Mark is that he had one incredible year for the Tigers in 1976, and then he injured himself early following the next season, and it was in the mid-70s, and his injury couldn't be diagnosed because they didn't have orthoscopic surgery or the way to scope to go inside. But the thing with a lot of pitchers, a lot of athletes have incredible 1 years and then they hurt themselves. And then you never hear from them again. And that's the nature of showbiz, because sports is basically showbiz. The difference between this story and any other, athlete is that Mark was probably on the spectrum. He was dyslexic. He was super hyper. If he had come along the same way that his injury couldn't be diagnosed because it was before you had the medical technology to diagnose it, what was going on neurologically could not be diagnosed, and it wasn't really treated. Couldn't read because he was dyslexic, not because he was stupid. He was super hyper. So if he was around now, they would have put him on Ritalin or Adderall or a whole bunch of other things. Instead, he got left back twice in elementary school. But his dad was at one point was an aspiring professional athlete until he broke his leg doing something stupid. And he was also the vice principal of a high school. So he recognized that Mark was athletically gifted from an early age. He also recognized that Mark was academically super behind the eight ball. And he wanted to do the best for his son. So he coached him in every sport imaginable, and he encouraged him. At the same time, he encouraged him to do good in school and be a good person. but Mark was so out there and so hyper and so gregarious that he couldn't sit still. Baseball, he ended up playing baseball in high school and in boarding school and in the minor leagues. Baseball is basically a sedentary sport. Um, Everybody just stands around waiting for the ball to get hit to you, unless you're the pitcher and the catcher. He made Mark a pitcher because he couldn't sit still. He couldn't play a position. If he was in the outfield, he would be distracted by his friends. If he was in the infield, he'd be talking to the other infielders, distracting them. He made him a pitcher because he thought it would keep his mind on the game. The thing is that Mark was so hyper that whenever he pitched, a baseball game on average is about 2.5 hours. When Mark pitched in high school, it was an hour and a half. It was like listening to a podcast on 2 times or 1.5. He also, the thing with professional athletes are, especially pitchers are, they concentrate. They concentrate at a level that normal people can't conceive of. It was kind of portrayed in the Kevin Costner movie For the Love of the Game, where he was pitching a perfect game.
Another
and
Detroit
halfway
movie.
through, what's that?
Said another Detroit movie. Keep going.
Another Detroit movie, and Costner's also, I think he's a Michigan guy, so that's why it was always. Anyway, he's pitching, and he's pitching a no-hitter, a perfect game, and by the 4th or 5th inning, he can't hear anything else. He could only hear his own thoughts. So Mark was like that. He would concentrate so much to compensate for his disabilities that everything he thought in his mind, so the catcher would say curveball, low outside, it would come out his mouth really loud. So he would go curveball, low outside, and he'd point to where he's going to pitch the ball. Or sometimes he'd be make believe he's throwing a dart, and the batter would be looking around going, is he serious? Did he just tell me the pitch? And the catcher's like, yeah, try and hit it. He was super talented. He would walk, he'd pace around the mound, get himself pumped up. Sometimes he'd get down on his hands and knees and fill in. The mound had to be perfect because he probably had OCD at the same time that he had all this hyper. He had everything that was wrong with him. If was right, because everything that was wrong with him endeared him to his teammates and the fans. Cool. If a player would make a play behind him, he'd run over and shake the player's hand in the middle of the game. If the umpire made a good call,
definitely a little autistic.
Yep.
He was something. But what it was, and then they would ask him questions like when he made it to the major leagues, he got fast-tracked to major leagues. He's 21 years old. He's super good looking. He's adorable. That's why we're getting Taylor to play him.
And just in case anybody doesn't know, Taylor John Smith was one of the lead of the Ensemble of Warfare that just came out back in April.
Funny story with Taylor, and I don't know if I told you this. So we go see Warfare. My wife and I go see Warfare. It's playing at a theater not far from us because we wanted to, my wife would never go see a really realistic war movie like that. But we went, and it was very crowded. It was the opening weekend, and we're looking for Taylor in the ensemble. And then he finally gets on screen, and he's got the sniper rifle, and he's kind of like, and people are getting blown up left and right. It's very intense.
Don't give away spoilers, because I thought the same thing.
No, here's our spoiler. And I go to my wife because the movie's like there's all these explosions, and I go and I said it a little too loud, and it was when it was, and all of a sudden it got very quiet. And I said, "Boy, he's really cute." Everybody's like, "What? This is what kind of movie are you?" So I said, he's adorable. My wife goes, he's adorable. And people, it was an inappropriate thing to say during Warfare, but he is really cute. Anyway, Mark, this is why Mark kind of transcended. It was the mid-70s. It was when everybody's parents started looking like the 60s. The 60s were over. People were starting to accept that kind of mod generation. Mark had long curly hair. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the closest pop culture icon to him at the time was Peter Frampton. Probably don't know, but it was the biggest album of the 70s. Frampton Comes Alive. Long curly hair. Anyway, he was on the cover of Rolling Stone, only baseball player ever, because he did transcend pop culture. When people asked him, he was only making, so he's a baseball player. You guys are aware how much baseball players make now, right?
Mhm.
Like gazillions of dollars.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Tens of millions of dollars. He was making $16,500 the year he pitched. If you
Crazy.
do the math, that's $320 a week. He lived like a college freshman off campus. He had a studio apartment. He had sheets for curtains. He had a mattress on the floor. Couldn't afford a telephone. And when people asked him if he was underpaid, being that he was having the best season and every game he pitched, 50,000 people went to see him pitch.
And this was not TV like there is now. It's not
Not
media like it
TV,
is now.
not
People
social.
would
He
go.
went viral before
Yeah.
you can go viral.
Yep.
And so 50,000 people were there for a team that no offense to the Tigers now, but they sucked then. They lost 100 games the year before. They were on pace to lose 95. Every game was averaging 8,000 or 9,000 people, except when he pitched, 50,000 people. And when reporters asked him, "Do you think you're being underpaid?" And he goes, "What do you mean underpaid? I'm playing baseball. They're paying me to play baseball. I'm making more than I did 2 years ago when I was pumping gas in my hometown. Also, do you know that they give us sandwiches after the game and they don't charge us?" So people would read this and go, "I love this guy."
And I because I texted Mac about this before we got on. Eric, I need you to guide me into who you think she should play as part of the cast in the movie.
Oh, you're going to be in the movie.
I'm casting her in the movie.
Here I am.
I would say,
Is there a Wendy
Anne.
Peppercorn? I'm just kidding.
Do you want her to be Anne?
She should play Anne.
You should play Anne. By the time Anne gets in, I'm not going to say how old I think you are. I think you're adorable, and you're
you.
probably in your 20s, around 30, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's about right.
So, and you could play. So they meet when they're like, they're from the same town. So the way we wrote it is Anne was a bookworm and
Mhm.
liked playing, coffee house folk music, and she was like the librarian type, but
Mhm.
she was still pretty. Not like in Rocky when Adrian was the librarian and she had to get a whole makeover.
I can do my hair darker too. That's my natural hair color.
I don't think anybody's, Anne's parents were Greek and they ran the diner, and Chet's Diner is like the center of the universe for that town. It's kind of like what's the diner in Happy Days? Anyway, you're all too young to remember Happy Days. But it's kind of the center. It's a small town. It's only like 12,000 people, this town. They went to the same high school, but Mark was a jock who couldn't read, and Anne was very bookish and the only child of Greek immigrants. Mark came from a big gregarious family. Anyway, they didn't really know each other in high school or even afterwards, but to actually have a backstory of a romance, we made it that they did know each other. They didn't have a romance growing up, but they were always kind of like, because they were such opposites and they were both cute, so they were intrigued with each other. So then and every time Mark would go home, the only place that they would go to get a meal was the diner,
which still exists, by the way,
which
and we're
still
shooting
exists. And Anne would usually be helping her parents out working there, or studying there. I mean, that was where it was. So they knew each other. So when it finally dawned on Mark that Anne is his soulmate, even though they're opposites, she appreciated his being so genuine. He wore his heart on his sleeve. There was no pretension about him. When he couldn't play anymore, he was like, he lifted himself up, kind of like you. He lifted himself up like we all want to do. And then the whole, by the time it gets to the end, Mark is only 30 years old because he started to pitch when he was 21. And by the time he was 30, they did develop the technology for arthroscopic surgery. And they went into his shoulder. They found that he had 2 tears in his rotator cuff that he'd been trying to pitch through for the last 8 years. They repaired it, and he could make a comeback now. And his dad was encouraging it because, oh, the train's here. Anyway, his dad wanted him to make a comeback because his dad always thought the only way for Mark to be fulfilled or happy is through sports, because he was so
Sounds like my mom.
That was my life too.
Yeah,
I discovered
and-
movies.
And you know
Yeah,
what? I
same.
had a similar on a very low level. My daughter, Sophie, Rose's sister, she was also a great athlete, and she tore, and I thought that was her way to get a college scholarship. And
Mhm.
that's what made her very popular, and that's what made her self-fulfilled. And then she tore her ACL and she couldn't play anymore. She had
So
it fixed, but then COVID came. Anyway, so I kind of understood that. I was like, come on, you could do it. But Mark's dad wanted him to make a comeback, and Mark had already fallen in love with Anne. And but he was very he's went in kind of like tippy toes. Like he wasn't quite sure that anybody would love him for him being all, kind of behind the 8 ball on a lot of things. And she loved his earnestness and his honesty and his goodness. And so Mark decided not to forego any comeback in sports. And he said, I love Anne, and I want to have a family, and I want to get married, and I want to settle down. And I can't do that if I'm trying to come back and play sports. And I already did that, and it was great. And I could never ask for anything more. I had that one incredible year, and that's it.
Yeah. Who is this actor that's, because I want to make sure I remember who it is.
So Taylor John Smith, who's managed by Joey Stanton, who represents me. Taylor, oh, 1 second. Hang on. Look, I'm in the dark.
You are. You're.
But I found the light.
Oh my God!
It's like we're gonna
I
make sure
saw it with
everybody
my
else
own
does.
eyes.
So
I would suggest
Taylor John Smith, the movie Where the Crawdads Sing, I believe it's called, or Lie.
He's in
he was
Warfare.
and
Oh,
Warfare, yeah.
He's
So
cute, and there's some pictures if you Google him where his hair is grown out and is long, and
and Taylor's co-directing with me because he's gonna be starring, but then when he's not in scenes, but he's in a lot, he'll be sitting next to me. We'll be directing together.
Awesome.
And Mac, you're opposite him is Anne.
He's cute.
Oh, I would do it. I would play opposite
I'm
him.
not back with my ex. My ex is not gonna like it.
That's okay.
He's what they call a modern heartthrob.
He'll have
That
to
is
deal with
definitely
it.
true.
Acting. It's all acting.
I know.
Acting kiss.
Yes.
I just watched the Paul Rubens documentary on Max. It was fabulous. And I didn't realize this in Big Top Pee-wee that Paul Rubens, who was basically a performance artist, he wanted to set the record for the longest Hollywood kiss. So not only did Pee Wee Herman never kiss anybody on camera, but he kissed his lead, his opposite, for probably 7 minutes straight.
That's hilarious.
And it was all
man.
on camera.
You know what's wild about Paul Rubens? He was one of the greatest character actors in the world, and he never got the proper shot. The work that he did in the movie Blow, Ted Demme, may you rest in peace,
Fabulous.
was amazing. It's
I liked
wild.
him in Mystery Man.
Yep, another great movie.
Anyway,
Underrated superhero movie.
Both of you on YouTube, there is a shit ton. Can I say shit ton?
Okay.
I can say ton. Ton is okay. There's a ton of Mark the Bird Fidrych footage and these little 5-minute mini docs on him. and you'll see what I mean. And there was one scene. So I didn't really know him that much. It was a rumor. I lived in New York. I grew up in New York. If a game is on in Detroit, there's no way I don't know. I just heard a rumor that there's this crazy guy who pitches for the Tigers who talks to the ball. He would talk to the ball. And it's incredible. He's a great pitcher. He's
Oh, he's
bamboozling all the
cute.
batters and he talks to the ball. And when you're a kid and you hear pitchers talking to the ball, so what Mark was doing was he would get into his set to pitch and he'd have his glove in front of him and his mouth was just constantly moving. And the announcers decided to play it up that he's talking to the ball. He's talking to himself, but he's talking to the ball. And when you're a kid and you are imagining this, you're just hearing it. I just think he's holding the ball in front of him and having a conversation with the ball. Anyway,
I would talk to myself when I was a gymnast all the time.
You talk to yourself, of course.
Yes, I think I'm slightly autistic myself.
Same. Same over here.
That's a
I used
little
to
like
play. I played goalie in ice hockey, and there was nobody there to talk to except for I had my mask on. Nobody could see I was talking. I talked to myself all the time. I'm doing the play-by-play. I'm doing the color commentary. I'm talking to everybody except nobody could hear me.
Do you guys have a shoot date like that you are aiming?
So where I've got to make my directorial debut, Pucks, first.
When is
Which-
Pucks? By the way,
Pucks is after the telethon. So the entire month of June through the middle of August, we're dealing with literally launching the Lovolution Festival. It begins July 1st. It ends on July 14th. On July 15th, we go to Owensboro, Kentucky, Mr. Bennett. And then after that movie, I have to make a film starring Isai Morales.
I love the Eastside
Who's
David,
the other
my
lead
sister.
of Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning. Thank you very much, Paramount.
Wow.
And that movie, he was already attached to back in 2020. The co-head of our nonprofit foundations is the co-director of that with me, David McClendon. We did one of these earlier. And I've got to direct that next. And then hopefully we'll have that nice little fall window there for us to make this, Mr. Bennett, going into the new year. And then come the beginning of the new year, I expect to, I'm going to direct some movies with some other people, but we're going to own the IP for They Live because that's what everyone's watching right now. I turned the movie They Live into actual real life. And I'm also going to be doing Big Trouble in Little China Part 2. I'll see you soon, Dwayne Johnson, because
2026.
those legacies were solely produced by Larry Franco, who produced me into doing all this. So.
All right, so let's dial it back a little. You're
Sorry.
saying The Bird
In the fall.
in the fall.
This fall.
This fall.
This fall. And where are you going to shoot it?
Oh, bro, come on. I changed the game to where we don't have to be fully focused on tax credit states anymore. This thing's being filmed in Detroit, Michigan, and in
Oh.
Massachusetts.
My friends,
two-
I have friends out there that they would love to see me. I could stay with them, honestly.
Really?
Okay.
What about that place I sent you the link to that's where they shot Brockmire?
I mean, that's in Georgia, which is connected. And because we'll be able to make this on the level we're going to be able to do it at, we'll shoot some scenes there in and around that city. Some of the minor league park stuff we could probably do there.
Yeah,
But,
because it's going to be a little chilly in the fall up in Detroit.
Yeah, it's going to be chilly
Yeah.
in Georgia, too. I've done a movie
Won't
out
be
there.
as chilly as Detroit. I got
You'd be
family in Detroit.
surprised. You'd be surprised. I have filmed many movies in Atlanta.
You got a better shot at a good weather day in Georgia.
I know.
Anyway, so in the fall, I don't care. You're the director. Do what you want. I just wrote it.
That's what I've been doing.
And you will make a great Anne.
Right?
Thank you.
I've known it for a few days, but I wanted you to say it because I don't want to.
Well, I'm pretty ethnically ambiguous, especially when my hair is not that blonde. People don't know what I am. I'm white, but
You're a white lady.
You know,
I know what you are.
You know what's cool too? Before I was able to align all of this, I had already identified a role for Sydney in that, right? Before I knew that I was going down a path of launching her into movie superstardom and myself. So by the time we film this, she'll be making a cameo in the character that I cast her in, which is awesome because there's this like sort of once the bird blows up and he's getting brought out to like Frank Sinatra's birthday or whatnot, he meets somebody out there during that time period, right? And this is before him and Anne reunite later on. And so it's like this movie star celebrity. So that's gonna be perfect for
Oh,
her to
cool.
play. That's awesome. But Mac,
All
thank
right.
you for everything. The last literally, we're going on 6 years now almost behind the scenes. I just appreciate all the encouragement to things I was posting, the platform that you always said I could tap into that was yours if we ever got to podcast phase. You're on the
Of course.
podcast with us too, by the way. And then Spade, I want you to be a part of this podcast as well. It's going to be made up of diverse men and diverse women sharing their viewpoints, not just on our industry, but things like we're talking about, man. It's the podcast for our social justice channel, and it's focused around our foundations. And this is the podcast that people could contact us if they need us to come and shine a big, bright spotlight on something that they're not getting justice behind. And we'll show up straight up like the freaking bat signal. By the way, Larry Franco also produced Burton's Batman and Chris Nolan's first one. So I'm in safe hands, as we all are.
Hey,
It's
I'm
all about
diverse.
legacies.
I'm
We're
diverse
all-
because I started out with a Mets hat and then I put on a Tigers hat. That is diverse.
And Eric, you're part of that podcast as well. And also, my friend, you see, everybody in this is their own brand, Mr. Bennett. When I told you we were launching the e-commerce side of this, you didn't quite expect. So will you let the world know, Eric,
Mm-hmm.
to wrap up this call, the e-commerce business you've had for how many years now?
A long time. I
No,
started in the
age yourself.
mid-'80s.
There it is.
Started in the
Wow.
mid-'80s. Do the math. Right out of college, I started the world's first everything to do with penguins store at South Street Seaport in New York.
So funny.
Eventually, it became an everything to do with penguins mail order catalog. And then I broke the internet in 1998 with the first everything to do with penguins e-commerce website, one of the first e-commerce.
Wow.
And when
Wait,
people
did I go to that website before?
pay, it's called Penguin Gift Shop.
Was it like one of the first ones ever?
Yes.
It was. I mean, when I first started it, you couldn't even order. You would have to actually.
I went
find
to that
the
website
item.
as a kid. I swear to you.
Did you like penguin? And so everybody seemed to have.
I know. I remember. This is like a core memory of mine when we first were using the internet. I
Yeah.
gotta call my mom and ask her about it.
You know, you want to hear a funny? You have a minute?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I know
Funny-
I've been to that
funny
website 'cause
story,
it was
I'm
before
s-
you could do that, right? It's before you could order stuff, right?
Basically.
Yeah. You could order. You have to call or write in or print out the order and send it in. You couldn't actually order online because there was no way to do it yet unless I was a super $1,000,000,000,000,000 corporation.
I'm gonna have to ask my mom.
If she ordered it. So I'm staying with my girlfriend in northern Portugal. We're staying at an old castle in a little town in the middle of nowhere. Beautiful. And we go into the castle and we have to sign in the register. And they say, I need, what is your name? And where do you live? And occupation. So I thought this will be hilarious. So I write penguin salesman. And he looks down, he goes, Pinguino, New York, Pinguino. And he goes and he takes me to a room in the back where his mother is sitting there. She's like 90 years old in like a rocking chair in a room surrounded by penguins, most of them from my store. And he goes, he says, I tell my mother what I'm doing an Italian accent, but it's Portugal. And tell my mother that you are from the seaport in New York. You're the penguin man, the penguino man. And his mother's like, gets up out of the chair. She's all shaking. She hugs me and she's like, she's got tears in her eyes. She always wanted to meet me.
Wasn't it like a big deal, like that people could order it? Am I not mistaken? That it was
Yeah.
a big deal that you could order something from there, right?
It was just a big deal that it was everything to do with Penguin Store.
And that it was like e-commerce though. If
It
I'm
was
remembering.
e-commerce.
Before e-commerce
and
was a
by
word,
the
yeah.
year
Yeah,
2000,
I swear I went
closed-
to your website.
I closed my stores and just did it online. And then I started writing children's books about a penguin and his best friend who was a big orange.
Which
Oh,
we're
you had done
making as an
books.
animated series, by the way.
And I can't
Mac,
wait
you're a
for it to be
writer on
in.
that.
So I've done 5 books and they're
Crazy.
all really fun. And my
Wow.
daughter Rose, who you'll meet, helped me write the first book because she this was like 15 years ago. She helped me write the first book. No, 13 years ago. She's not that old. She's 17. Anyway, we sat down. She said, I volunteered you to read a story to my class in first grade. On Thursday, a parent comes in. I said, well, what book do you want me to read? She goes, read me the book that you tell me at bedtime. And I was like, oh, I never wrote that down. She goes, well, let's write it down. And we wrote it down every night for about 5 or 6 nights. And then we had the book and some of the kids asked for copies of it. One of the parents was in publishing, and that's how my first book got published.
That's awesome.
That's sweet.
So yeah, Noodles and Albie, very cute.
So basically, we've got IP, we've got sports, we've got management, we've got advertising, we've got e-commerce, pretty much everything that corporations have. Our only corporation is the real estate side and the investment advertising side.
Mhm.
Sorry, not investment. That already happened. That's why I did all this.
Mhm.
But the advertising side, I'm pretty sure on Memorial Day, where freedom is not free, because none of this came for free, we just set multiple industries free, not just the entertainment industry. And we built an army literally across the entire world. So we're building these studios. I already have the land in Jamaica and the partner for it, 600 acres. That's going to be a heaven on earth. I have the land that I've been still having to battle for, but like I said, I'm not in control of this in La Paz, Mexico. We already have land that was identified in Canada. That's something that Adam C. Stone's been working on. That's not currently part of this, but once this moves forward, check that off the box. I am getting on a private plane and I'm flying to Shanghai, China, because that's where this platform got birthed through. When I walked into Cherry Zoo being assaulted in front of a license plate that had mine and Sydney's basically names on it, her age and my birthday, I realized in the struggle I went through at the Dorchester to get them to take accountability for what happened and what they had been instilling on her now for several years, that I had to create a platform that was so freaking big that anybody that had social justice issues, and let's not forget my relationship directly connected to Ben Crump, not him himself, but one of his main partners is who made Cutthroat City possible. I have the ability at a phone call's notice to put anybody on notice who's literally living in this world that I need to shine a freaking spotlight on. So that's what I did with everybody. And now, court of public opinion is everything. So I know who all I have standing next to me. Let's see who comes and stands next to these people when I've shined a big bright spotlight on their evil darkness ways. That guess what? If those things weren't true, would I have been led by a power greater than myself to do all this? I don't think so. So here we are. Mac, I look forward to this adventure finally beginning with you and Spade and Eric and Sid and everybody else. And we are all going to celebrate together when I get everybody rounded up, paid for by Coca-Cola. I'll finish that next week. And we all go finally visit not only Piney Woods School together, but we go on a little Mercedes RV road trip to each one of the locations that we already own the land for in the United States of America. So that's going to be the month of June. So I'll be seeing your beautiful
Yeah.
faces real soon. We're going to go through, I'm finishing the ad campaign for this. I'm going to get Mercedes. And if not Mercedes, another brand that will basically be the top brand by the time this is done. We're going to get a bunch of RVs and I'm going to go through and I'm going to pick everybody up. We're going to go on a little road trip. We're going to film it all. It's going to live stream with brand partners and we're going to all caravan together to the land that God led us to. And that's simple as that. This is it. This is the last Zoom that I have to do for any of these. The ones tomorrow are part of this too, but those Zooms tomorrow are with Larry Franco and David Womark, my first meeting ever with both of them. And then
So cool.
Taylor John Smith and Jesse Metcalf. And I'm surprising those two. They don't know they're going to be on the same Zoom. And if you remember Jesse Mac from John Tucker Must Die, he's one of
Oh, is
my
that him?
my boy
John Tucker?
Jesse. Yeah, yeah. And now
I used to have the biggest crush on him.
yeah. Well, tomorrow I'm on a Zoom with both him and Taylor. So hot.
Well, let him know I had a crush on. I don't know that I still do, but that was my first big
And that's the
crush.
thing, man. Jesse hasn't aged one bit. Still looks like Jesse 20 years ago, just like I do. But no, man, we met on the movie Escape Plan 2, and we became fast friends. He's who I primarily kicked it with when he was filming. And he showed me around Atlanta and always kept in touch. And I hit him up, I think actually when I was at Eric's in Massachusetts, and I'm like, yo, I finalized something really big. And I let him know what I was doing. We talked when I was in Atlanta briefly at Eddie George, the writer of my directorial debuts place. Jesse let me know some of the other things outside of entertainment he was cooking. Those verticals all aligned with this. So he showed up for me like everybody else has. And Sydney and I had a really cool like lunch with him back 6 years ago now, and it was all this weird stuff was happening in the restaurant. So all these points of memory, right? I've come to understand that they're for things later on in the path that you don't really know. So I was like, man, Taylor, I'm like, oh yeah, I gotta call Jesse. So Jesse's gonna be, because he's got so much experience and he's awesome, and he can easily produce everything that he's acting in, but has never been given that opportunity. I want him next to me, man, on set for all these movies I'm directing whenever he's available, just because he has such an understanding of acting as well. So that's what I told him I was going to do. And I just hit start on that today. And here we are.
I had somebody literally last night tell me that I need to be acting.
And here we
More.
go.
I have an agent, but he doesn't book me that much. But yeah, so this is interesting.
Welcome to the new Hollywood, which
Oh, yeah.
happens to be in Ocala, Florida, which kind of sounds like California. So go figure.
Good time. Good time for a new Hollywood.
And
You know
Matt,
what? If I was looking through a book of headshots looking for Anne,
it's her.
it would be you.
I know, it's her.
And I'd just be like, well, if we need her to be a brunette, she can be a brunette.
It's literally
Yeah.
her.
Yeah, you're that. And the same thing with Taylor, because
That's
you guys
funny.
are young enough that you could play 20
Well,
and
yeah.
you could play well, you're probably 30, but you could play 30.
Yeah.
And at the end of the
And
movie,
one last thing, Mac, I got to drive down to Miami on Wednesday to see Paul Cuscieri, the other trademark controller of Pulp Fiction, who wrote my movie Cutthroat City. You see, the guy that wrote the last film of my producing career. I am now stepping forward into a whole new situation where there's not even anything for this. This is like going back to grindhouse cinema. That's why I had to do something so visionary to actually get QT to show up, which we're in the middle of closing, by the way. You see, Tarantino doesn't own the trademark. The guys that introduced me to the people that put up the 13.6 billion to buy Paramount control the trademark. So I got to come to Miami, and I'm going to come and see you because that's
Yeah,
where Paul is.
I'll be free.
Cool. Thank you. I'll see you in the next 48 hours. Spade, I will be back in Detroit very soon.
Okay.
And you and Danny Hamilton are going to help basically build out the biggest music management collective that the world has ever seen. And I already connected you with Danny. You guys spoke. So that's YDB's manager. And Mr. Bennett, thank you for being a father figure guide on this, sir. And you got one amazing daughter, and I promise you, she was with the biggest group of artists ever.
well, thank you. I
Thanks.
trust you to take good care of her, but I
You're gonna
am
be
coming to I
Right
am
there,
gonna
you're
be-
right there with
I'm
me,
gonna be
man.
there with her.
You're right
So
there with
it'll
us.
be cool. And
all
how
of
about
you-
Rose being a rock star now.
Exactly. And
It's
all of
amazing.
you will meet the rock star that led me to superstardom in Sydney. And I look forward to that day. So
Hey,
that's up next.
can I send Mac do you want to see the script and any
You send it.
things?
I'm putting you guys on a text.
Okay.
I'm not, you communicate, because if she has any ideas, I want her going straight to you. You
If
wrote
you
it.
need me to sign anything, I'm happy to
Nah,
sign.
it's
Okay.
all public. You don't have to sign anything. I
Okay.
know you're not gonna release it.
No, we
So-
registered it anyway, so we'll just sue you.
You won't have to, I promise. I'm nice.
I got a team of
No, you
lawyers to
don't
do
look like
that.
the type that's gonna run pirate
You don't need to, I promise.
I mean,
Or,
I
or
actually,
my Penguin Kids books.
this is
You
something
could
to
do the
know.
voiceover for the Albie character for the you.
Sign me up. This
You're
is what
in.
I like to do. This is my
Roger.
favorite thing to do is right now, what I'm doing, being on camera, so.
Okay, cool. All right.
Thank you,
Thanks,
guys.
Will.
Appreciate this.
Well,
What a
nice to
journey.
meet you
Thanks,
guys.
Will.
Nice meeting you guys.
I hope
Bye,
to see you
guys.
soon.
I'll talk to you
Thank
soon, Will.
you. Blessings. Bye.